So I'll say good morning once again. My name is Sally Selden, and it's truly a pleasure to welcome you here today. I am a citizen of the city of Lynchburg and a mother of 3 sons who've grown up in the Lynchburg City Schools. It is my honor to serve as the president of the Lynchburg City Schools Education Foundation. And I could not do the work that I do in this role without my fellow board members, the trustees, and our incredible executive director, Jody Gillette. So I'd like to ask my board of trustees members to stand up, at foundation trustees, as well as Jody Gillette, and please join me in thanking them. I'd also like to express my gratitude to everybody in this room for being here and supporting this breakfast. And most importantly, we want to thank you for your support of the Lynchburg City Schools, our students, and our teachers of this incredible city. As the Ed Foundation works to maximize the impact of our organization, we're always looking and reviewing the work that we do and the programs that we offer to make sure that they're meeting the needs of our community. In this spirit, the Ed Foundation held a retreat in December to review our programs to ensure that their intended impact is aligned with our actual impact. The Ed Foundation highlighted some tenets that it was committed to, and I just want to share those with you today. First, we believe that there is no more important component to the well-being of a community than its schools. As John Dewey said in 1897, schools are the fundamental method of social progress and reform. Second, we believe that strong public schools provide an educated workforce which plays a role in business recruitment and retention. Third, strong public schools help break the cycle of poverty. Fourth, strong public schools prepare students to be successful in a challenging global economy and to become engaged citizens. Fifth, strong public schools and school spending positively impact economic development in a number of ways, including business site selection and labor location decisions, as people and companies do not want to locate in a community that does not offer strong public schools. And 6, strong public schools increase a community's property values. In light of these tenets, the Lynchburg City Schools Foundation provides financial support and helps to meet unmet needs during times of tight fiscal school budgets. The foundation advocates on behalf of our school division and ensures that our school system is not only good, but great. The foundation advances excellence and equity in the school division. It supports and advances all students, regardless of where they fall on the academic and financial continuum. And the Ed Foundation fosters education innovation. The school division serves students of all different learning styles, and we are committed to supporting efforts to develop new ways to educate all students at the teacher, school, and division level. The Ed Foundation recently adopted a new mission statement, and I am pleased to be able to share it with you today. The Ed Foundation's mission is advancing excellence and equity in the Lynchburg City Schools through advocacy and educational funding. Our school division's mission statement is every child by name, by need, to graduation. And we all appreciate just how hard our teachers, administrators, and staff work to meet that vision. The programs of the Lynchburg City Schools Education Foundation provide support above and beyond our public resources and create innovative educational opportunities for our city schools, faculty, and students. This year alone, the Ed Foundation has provided over $80,000 in classroom innovation grants. These are designed to support a teacher's creative efforts to engage students of all learning styles. The Ed Foundation offers scholarships to support special academic opportunities for students while they're still in the Lynchburg City Schools, and scholarships to support post-secondary opportunities and education. Thanks to a recent large scholarship received from the Strubance Foundation, our scholarship impact just got greater, with significant benefits to many of our students, especially those in and pursuing careers in the trades. And the Ed Foundation operates a Tools for School warehouse, which provides classroom materials to teachers free of charge. Some students start the school year behind the curve because the school supply list is not an exciting signal that the school year is coming, but instead can feel like a barrier to success for families that struggle financially. The Tools for School warehouse provides new school supplies and backpacks to students with identified financial needs to ensure that all school students have the required school supplies to be ready for a successful academic year, serving 1,330 students at the start of this school year. We thank you, every person in this room, for your support of LCS and for your support for these important programs. We could not do it without you. As a foundation, we are humbled and heartened by your commitment to our teachers and our students to ensure that all students receive the best education that meets their needs. The foundation recognizes that we are truly fortunate to live in a community where so many of our businesses are committed to public education. It is with great honor and appreciation that I recognize our 11 lead sponsors today, and I'm going to read through the list. Amazement Square, Anthem, BB&T, Centra, Dominion 7 Architects, Fleet Laboratories, Gentry Locke Attorneys, Lynchburg City Schools, Lynchburg College, Ellen and Tom Nygaard, and Piedmont Community Health Centers, along with 51 table sponsors whose names have been on the screen behind me and which appear in your program. Please join me in thanking them for their support. I think you would agree with me that the roster support speaks to the depth of dedication of our business community to our public schools. Thank you again for being here.
It's always hard to kind of pull the room back together and start off with something profound, but I will say, as I was thinking about this, this has been a real year of transition for the school system and the school board. In particular, is with the hiring of a new superintendent, this obviously garners an enormous amount of attention from all folks. It's understandable. It's also kind of the nightmare for the school board members because this is like a really big deal, of course. But it's something I think every board ends up going through. The average tenure in Virginia for a superintendent, I believe, is just over 4 years. So we started the search process in August. It took approximately 5 months. We interviewed a number of candidates. There were over 75 applicants. We did make use of a search firm to help provide some initial screening. In December, we did arrive at a decision. The new superintendent is Dr. Crystal Edwards. She's in Lawrence Township, New Jersey. She has been a sitting superintendent for about 4 or 5 years. Her school division is about 4,000 students. She could not be here today, but we do have a video that I believe is ready to get queued up, and to give her a couple of minutes to introduce herself to you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Dr. Crystal Edwards, and I am pleased to be your incoming superintendent. First, let me thank Dr. Nealis, Dr. Massey, and Ms. Gillette for allowing me to be here with you this morning and spend some time just talking about my philosophy. It's quite simple. In everything that we do in the school division, we're either glowing or we're growing. In my past visits, I had the pleasure to spend some time in classrooms at Sandusky Elementary and middle schools. I also got the full lunchroom experience at Heritage High School. And I spent some time in meetings and discussions with central office and city council personnel. During these visits, I was able to experience everything that makes our community and our school division special. In fact, Your very presence here today at this breakfast is one of the things that contributes to our glow factor. In addition to highlighting everything in Lynchburg that makes us glow, as superintendent, I also have the responsibility to be reflective about our practices and look for areas where we can grow. I look forward to cultivating positive relationships with all of you and enhancing our joint mission to ensure that we meet every child by name and by need to graduation and beyond. Again, thank you for your continued support and have a wonderful day.
Great. And Dr. Edwards is going to start at the beginning of April. Part of transition 2 is the initial reaction. When we found out that we needed to hire a new superintendent, the board's reaction was, and this is edited for the general audience, was, "Oh no." Our second reaction was, we have to hire an interim first. Oh no. And then it was, how are we going to carry out the search process? Oh no. Fortunately for us, I believe it was fortunate for our next speaker, but we were able to convince Dr. Larry Massey to take on a second tenure here at Lynchburg City Schools. Dr. Larry Massey served as superintendent for 23 years prior to serving an interim post in Orange County, Grayson County, and the 2 tenures here in Lynchburg City Schools. While serving as superintendent for Buckingham County Schools, he led the division to full state accreditation, met division-wide adequate yearly progress. He's garnered considerable recognition for his leadership through his distinguished career, including being honored as Regional Superintendent of the Year by the Virginia Association of School Superintendents 3 times, in 1998, 2006, and 2008. Dr. Massey received his doctorate in education from Virginia Tech in 2010 and received his master's degree in education administration from East Tennessee State University in 1970. He graduated from the University of Tennessee in 1966, and the Vols continue to be near and dear to his heart. Dr. Massey's love of baseball is surpassed only by his love for his wife and family. He is looking forward to retirement for a 5th time. I hope he succeeds this time. If he chooses not to, it's his choice. Dr. Massey.
Well, thank you so much. It's great to be here. It's great to have a great breakfast, too, that's free. I always enjoy being with this group, and I want to first of all say this Lynchburg Education Foundation is absolutely amazing. I've never seen the support for a school division by an ed foundation that even compares to this foundation. And not only do I enjoy working for the Lynchburg City School Board, I enjoy working for Jody Gillette, who has planned this event as if it were Operation Overlord, and I'll guarantee you everything that can be planned and prepared for has been, and it's just been a delightful affair so far, and I promise not to mess it up if I can help it. I don't know why she thinks it's necessary. She's reminded me about 4 or 5 times in the last week that I only have 5 to 10 minutes. Some of my staff thought that was funny too. But I don't know why she would think I would run over, being the son of a Southern Baptist minister that while that would happen, I was thinking about when I first got a call from Lynchburg last summer. Nora Dunn actually called me and put this in front of me that perhaps I should consider coming here. And then Gina Dolan Sewell called, and I said, I don't think so, Gina. So she called Charlie White, and Charlie said, take him out to eat, it'll work. So Gina took me to Crab Louie's on Midlothian Turnpike in Richmond, and that turned anybody's mind. It was wonderful, and so I agreed to come. But anyhow, I'm here standing before you as a temporary employee and a short timer, and I'm just going to bluff my way through the rest of it because people are looking at me and saying, wonder how much time he's got here. But I promise to do my best till the very end. You know, I do enjoy working for this school board. I've been handicapped, though. I've grown close in admiration and respect for that board and for my chairman, Mike Nellis. But I feel restricted because Mike doesn't like my stories. And I feel like I have at least one hand tied behind my back, and he's an engineer, you know. He just wants to get the bottom line. And I said, can I give you an illustrative story about this? And he said, no, I just want this. I'm busy. I've got work to do. You know, I've got a meeting. Could you just get to the bottom line? And that's right. Give him the bullet points. So I've learned to do that. And he doesn't like any of my stories, even the true ones. But I talked to Bob Brennan about that. I said, you know, the chairman doesn't like my stories. Do you like them? And he said, I don't mind them. I just hate it when you tell the same one over and over. So I am 75 years old, and I didn't know I was telling the same ones over and over. But I'll try to get through this without telling. I'll try to get through this with the truth and without telling a story that you've heard before. You know, let me tell you something that's not a story. I really also love working here for another reason. Wendy Sullivan does all my work. Did y'all know that? I just show up at breakfast and talk, and she does all the work. And boy, I'm telling you, it's been a treat to be to work with her again. I see Jody's winding me up there, so if you don't mind, I would like to introduce some very special people before we introduce our program. First of all, our very fine school board, I'd like to ask them to please stand for your applause. I'm very pleased to introduce our assistant superintendents, Dr. Jay McLean and Mr. Ben Copeland, soon to be Dr. Copeland. And our principals and directors, would you please stand for applause? Thank you for being here. And we have city and state leadership folk here. I would like to introduce them and ask them to please stand as I call your name. Mayor Joan Foster. Vice Mayor Trinae Tweedy. Councilwoman Mary Jane Dolan. Councilman Jeff Helgeson. Councilman Randy Nelson. Councilman Sterling Wilder. and representatives from the office of Senator Tim Kaine, Senator Mark Warner, and Representative Goodlad. If those folks are here, please. Thank you. City Manager Bonnie Severchek. Deputy City Manager Charles Hartgrove. Assistant City Manager John Hughes. And your friend and mine, Police Chief Raul Diaz, and representatives from our police department, Sheriff Don Sloan, and Lynchburg Economic Development Authority representatives Margette Upshur and Louise Mitchell. Now, that's enthusiasm. You didn't eat as much breakfast as I did, Margette. I'm in a diabetic coma right now. I'm trying to carry on here. We're in a treat today. We have LCS graduate and EC Glass English teacher, Mr. Aaron Reed, with us, who will serve as Master of Ceremonies. And he'll be joined by 4 personable and energetic EC Glass and Heritage High School seniors who will share how their Lynchburg City Schools education has prepared them for success as they continue their education and become engaged citizens and creative employees. Aaron Reed is a graduate of EC Glass, a class of 1994. He currently teaches public speaking, AP Capstone, and AP Language and Composition at Glass. He is the coach of the forensics team, which of course is the competitive public speaking team at the school. He was born in Florida, but he tolerates our Virginia winters to the best of his ability. And he lives with his wife, who's a kindergarten teacher at Lincoln Elementary, and his 2 lovely children. Please sit back and relax as we enjoy today's program. In their own words, growing up in Lynchburg City Schools. First, Mr. Aaron Reed.
Good morning. We want to thank you all for being here with us today. As I give my students a moment here to kind of get themselves set up in terms of podiums and microphones and things like that. Thank you for that introduction, Dr. Massey. My name is Aaron Reed. I am a graduate, as he said, of Lynchburg City Schools of EC Glass, and I have elected to return to be a teacher at EC Glass as well. And I have the privilege today of spending a little bit of time with you and to present to you 4 students, 2 of whom are soon to be EC Glass graduates, 2 of whom are soon to be Heritage High School graduates. And we have some thoughts. When I was approached in November about having students speak directly to you, I thought, what an amazing opportunity. Because so often in education, we see adults in rooms much like this one talking to other adults about students. And I think that one of the hallmarks of education in the 21st century is for adults like you and me to listen to what these students have to say. And I can tell you today that they have some very profound and very insightful things to say. I'm going to let them right now take a moment to introduce themselves, their families, a little bit about what they do in schools and their backgrounds to you before we do kind of a deeper dive into some of the issues surrounding education today.
Good morning, everyone. It's an honor to be speaking in front of you today. My name is Kyle Mendez, and I'm a senior at EC Glass High School. I believe I've gotten most of my support through LCS from my father, who's in the audience somewhere. He's a farm placement specialist for the Virginia Employment Commission, and he actually goes around to multiple agricultural camps and inspects them and protects the rights of both migrant and American workers. And I believe that's given me a sort of hope throughout my entire life within the LCS community, especially when it comes to the clubs that I'm a part of and the support I've garnered from them. Those being a male a cappella ensemble called the Acafellas, multiple chamber orchestra ensembles, and my favorite club of them all, Forensics. Now, I don't actually investigate dead bodies, contrary to popular belief, but this is public speaking, and my specific category is called impromptu. So I literally wake up one Saturday early in the morning, which is a very tough task for high schoolers, and we go out into a room, people I've never seen before, choose 3 topics that, once again, I have never seen before. I have to pick one of those, and within 7 minutes, I give them a speech. And so through that, I've learned public speaking. I hope I'm doing well, by the way. But I've learned public speaking, and especially with the help of my father, I believe that I've gained much of this support.
So I'm Grace Chun. My dad over there is a pastor, and my mom works as a nurse at Bedford Memorial. So we are originally from South Korea, but we've been in Lynchburg for about 10 years. I've been in public school all my life. I went to Lincoln for elementary school as well as Heritage, and then went up to Sandusky for middle school. Now I'm a senior at Heritage High School and Central Virginia Governor's School. And a very meaningful extracurricular that I started was something called the Grace Project. We function under the main theme of spreading grace through community ventures and addressing social and environmental issues, as well as providing our student body with volunteer opportunities with different organizations in our community. We've worked with the Miller Home, preparing gifts for the girls who can't live with their families, or preparing ornaments for the Lynchburg Area Veterans Council, and currently we're going through a year-long project to install beehives on our school campus. And how I started that was actually after talking with a homeless man downtown Lynchburg, and through that conversation about perhaps 2 hours, I gained a perspective that I wasn't aware of before personally speaking with him, so that allowed me to take the next step.
Hi everyone, my name is Manan Shah. My whole life I've been in Lynchburg. My 2 parents, they're from India, and they've sacrificed and struggled a lot to immigrate to the United States to provide me a quality education in the Lynchburg City Schools. In elementary school, I went to Heritage Elementary School. Mrs. Anderson over there, she's cheering. I went to Sandusky Middle School, and currently I'm a senior at Heritage High School and Central Virginia Governor's School. One of the clubs or organizations that I'm a part of is the National Honor Society. I serve as the president there, and what I do is coordinate different volunteer activities and service projects. I also serve as the student representative of the Lynchburg City Schools School Board, where I get to sit alongside probably the coolest school board members in the country. And no, they didn't tell me to say that, but there I get to relay the perspectives of students and teachers and their concerns to the board, as well as update them on current events going on at Heritage High School. And I also created a club called Overcoming Adversity with Diversity. And our mission of this club is to eliminate stereotypes that our youth faces regarding ethnicity, religion, culture, and sexual orientations. And we eliminate these stereotypes by interviewing students. And we released a video on social media and other internet, and it's called Breaking Stereotypes, where we interview students and they break the stereotype that they've commonly faced as they grew up in the United States.
Hi everybody, my name is Macy Brandon. I began my LCS journey at Bedford Hills Elementary School, then I went to Dunbar Middle School, and I'm currently a senior at EC Glass High School. My parents are Terry and Matthew Brandon, who cannot be here today because they work at the University of Virginia and make a long 1 hour and 15-minute commute every morning. But both of their jobs are very meticulous and community-oriented. And I see that a lot in myself, as I love to volunteer, and I'm a part of multiple volunteer organizations at Glass. and I like to take leadership roles, such as being president of our German club and our National Honor Society. And by being president of things like our National Honor Society, I am able to see what the teachers see every day with being with seniors, and I have to fight the senioritis, tell people to go out in the community, volunteer, and give back some of what we've been receiving all our lives being in this LCS and Lynchburg community. It's a great opportunity for me to work with people in the city and organize days for us to come out, help them, and just be giving back to them and showing that we're appreciative of what we've been getting all our lives.
As these students who have quite literally grown up in Lynchburg City Schools, the young people on this stage here have a plethora of stories to tell you. I don't need to relate their achievement and success, which is plentiful, but I wanted to start by taking just a moment to have them talk to you a little bit about the obstacles that they have had to overcome in their years at LCS. We grow through success as well as our learning experiences, as well as the obstacles that we encounter. So I'm going to invite them now to just relate in a brief fashion, maybe briefer than we practiced given our time. If you all would relate an instance that has caused you to grow at some point during your career in LCS.
So for me, it was not a particular instance that caused me to grow, but more so new surroundings and people that I met. This year I was appointed to co-editor of our school's yearbook, and it has been a great opportunity. And one of the biggest trips that we plan throughout the year for our yearbook students is a journalism conference at Columbia University in New York City. And while this is amazing, it costs $600 per student. And last year, this was not the biggest deal because a lot of people had family, neighbors, friends, and businesses to turn to in order to allocate the funds to go to this trip. But this year, there are a lot of students who came from different socioeconomic backgrounds that we had not encountered before. So myself and the editor took it upon ourselves to find ways to help them gather the funds in order to go. Because this is a great opportunity for them to learn about journalism and further their possible career and their knowledge within this class. So we hosted 2 fundraisers, myself and the editor, and they raised over $3,000. And next week, the students will be going on this trip to New York. So it has been a great success. And I got to meet with leaders in our community to plan these events. And I learned a lot about being respectful of people who are not the same as me, but still deserve the same opportunities.
So I believe that perfection has always been an aspiration of mine, and my school records could tell you that my aspirations are a little far-fetched. And in my imperfections, I've listened to numerous lectures and heard enough cliche quotes, enough to last me along college and even to brush off on a few of my own children. One of these quotes was an Albert Einstein quote that said, "Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results." So my freshman year, I was pinned down with the hardest thing any high school student has to really deal with, National History Day. So my partner and I, we got this project, and we literally did it the night before. We put so much effort into it, created this nice project, and we took it to school the next day. We stayed up till about 3 o'clock in the morning, and we got a C-. And the next year I thought to myself, you know what? C- is okay. Let's do it again. So I did it again. But junior year came, and I had straight A's, and I was like, I'm not gonna let this C- get into my way. So I thought of the Albert Einstein quote, if I'm gonna keep doing it again, waiting till the night before, it's not gonna get done. I'm gonna get a C-. So I prepared for weeks on end. I finally got it done. And now I stand up here today and I tell you I did get a solid A- on that project.
So for me, the instance that allowed me to grow was my experience as captain of Quiz Bowl. So for those of you who don't know, it's something like Jeopardy. It's more academic, but it does technically count as a sport. So I learned through that, through doing that, I learned to delegate according to my team members' skill sets and interests. And because we're such a diversely membered team, it was such fun to see the dynamics of how we fit together, sort of like a puzzle. For example, I know in the first round I would know who to put in if they're good at music or fine arts. For the second round, I know who to put in because they're good at math, and so on.
Similar to Grace, my leadership abilities were tested when serious events occurred at Heritage High School this year. This school year, we unfortunately lost three students, and they passed away. Marissa Bichelle, who passed away due to diabetes, Ryan Wood, who committed suicide, and Jordan Keys, who was a victim of gun violence. And Ryan was someone I particularly knew more than the others, and I knew him since 6th grade. And the day before he passed away, I fist pumped him in the hallway, just casually, and then the next day he was gone. And that dramatically affected me and the rest of the student population. We were struggling with the grief, and we grew because coping with this pain opened our eyes to the perspective people suffer from on a daily basis, whether it's socially and economically. And we also opened our eyes to what suicide and depression actually are, and how we have to let people know that we're there for them, whether it's in schools or even in businesses. And because the student population was struggling with this grief, I wanted to act on this. Within the National Honor Society, I developed stronger leadership skills by listening to the voices of our members and developing a vision to end suicide and depression, even though it sounded impossible. And by cooperating with the team, we conducted various projects to spread positivity in our school. We put 200 posters around our school hallways with motivating messages that kind of uplifted the students' attitudes during that time. And we also introduced a website called youuplift.com, where students are allowed to anonymously post positive messages to each other. And how we grew from this and how this will apply to the real world is when you see a problem, you must act on it. You must do more than just relaying your opinion or posting on Facebook or something like that matter. You must act on it in a cohesive and nonviolent way. And this recognizing a problem and acting on it was very, as a pioneer community, we grew from that. And it kind of developed leadership, and not just the National Honor Society, but the entire student population. And it should remind all of us and previous generations and our generation that the next generation of leaders are here, and we're ready to stand up for anything that's fair and what is morally right for us.
Resilience is a theme that you are going to hear on this stage from all of these students. But the fact is that LCS draws its strength from many places. Where some citizens look at our public schools and see nothing but discord and strife, I submit to you that our diversity is the strength that we bring every single day. And so, as kind of a final comment here, I'm going to ask each of them to spend just a moment to talk about their perception of diversity in LCS and the ways that they see it creating strength for them every day.
So I'll start with this one. So being in a public school, it allowed me to work with people who are unlike me, unlike myself. And that applies to classmates who are at different levels of learning or come from different backgrounds or home lives, or teachers who teach with different styles, or perhaps I can't catch up in their class, like math is not my favorite subject. But in those kinds of settings, I feel like in group projects this comes into play quite often. For me, they haven't been the most ideal situations, if you know what I mean, but there have been times that one person would carry the whole group, but as I moved into high school, more into higher levels of learning, I learned how to convert my frustration into adaptability, and as a result, I was able to improve my communication skills, and I'm less fearful of working with other people.
So diversity is definitely a great thing, but what comes with diversity is a higher rate of competition. The more markets out there, the harder it is to get your product sold. And so as a student who has to compete with other students in the GPA race, we have to find better ways to compete with such a diverse body of students, and that comes with creativity. Now, I believe everything has some sort of creativity to it, some sort of art form. Whether it be the food we ate this morning, whether it be picking our children up from school, or simply making a ham and cheese sandwich, it's art. Going back to the Albert Einstein quote, doing the same thing over and over again, that's insanity. I made a ham and cheese sandwich with mayonnaise on it, and I did not like it. Did you think I would put mayonnaise on it again the next time? I did not, because it's my art. That ham and cheese sandwich belongs to me. I deserve the tasty treat. So I wasn't gonna do the same thing again. I wanted to produce a better product, and so that's what LCS teaches us through diversity, is that we need to continue to struggle with ourselves, the internal, so that we can produce more things, so we can think thoughts we've never thought before and gain a perspective that's superior than that of people who are just complacent with our own education.
So Mr. Beatty has always said that Heritage High School is a special school because of its diversity. And the art teacher, Mr. John Rourke, he calls Heritage High School a mini United Nations because our school represents more than 39 nationalities. And diversity at Heritage High School and within LCS has made me more open-minded and accepting of different peoples, whether it be ethnicity, religion, or different perspectives, different ideologies, different personalities. And I learned how to accommodate these differences and reach a compromise with people who think differently than me. And I learned a lot from them as well. And something about diversity, it can either unite a people or divide a people. I remember in Heritage High School, my friend Muhammad, in 9th grade, he was kicked. He came back from Pakistan to the United States, and it was his first day at school, and he was kicked and called a terrorist because of his religion. And I remember back in middle school, I was always made fun of for my religion and culture. I was always called a slumdog millionaire because I was Indian. And as I entered high school, I realized I wasn't the only one being labeled and stereotyped. A lot of my Hispanic friends were being called drug dealers. My white friends were being called racists. My black friends were being called dropouts. And I realized that, and that's why I made that club, Overcoming Adversity with Diversity, to eliminate those stereotypes and make a more comfortable environment in the school systems. I think diversity is a very important topic and conversation to have with children and students at LCS. And even in the professional world, if someone isn't exposed to different types of people, whether it be culture or ideology, they'll feel uncomfortable and they'll fail to understand those different people. This is why businesses should be more inclusive, and more perspectives always lead to more ideas. And that's kind of the element that I've learned within LCS, is to be more accepting and unite under uniqueness, because we are all the same.
So for me, the diversity of LCS has really come through strong in how my teachers teach. Some teachers rely more on packets and papers or typing on our Chromebooks. And then some teachers love to have us do presentations to have more of the student teaching the teacher to see how much we learn. And I appreciate that approach mainly because one of my favorite teachers at EC Glass, Frau Markovinovich, my German teacher, she knows how much I love journalism and creating websites and all these other creative aspects of the hobbies that I do on my computer at home. So every time she has a project, she knows that I'm going to go home, and instead of doing a Google Slides or a PowerPoint, I'm probably going to create a website, a little video to go with it, and then a paper as well. And all of that helps me to take my hobbies and my passions and put that into my everyday schoolwork, so it's not the same assignment over and over again. And the diversity in the way that teachers teach at LCS has really helped me to show that creativity doesn't have to be softened down or just turn into these black and white situations where it's only one or two ways to do something, but you can make everything your own, and you can really turn something into what you want it to be if you ask or if you just try hard enough and put the effort into it.
We want to thank you today for the time that you have offered us to be able to speak to you. On behalf of the students up here and myself, this was a great honor to be able to just share a couple of moments and a couple of thoughts. And we've been working hard on this for a number of months, and I know that I am super proud of our young people on the stage right now. They're amazing.
Wow, you guys were absolutely amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for being here today. Macy, Grace, Kyle, and Manon, you dedicated a lot of time and energy, and you invested to prepare for today's program, and your willingness to share your experiences with us. You obviously have a greater gift than me, as you were able just to speak off of mild notes, and I'm going to be looking at my paper while I speak to all these people. That's my comfort zone, but you've demonstrated intellect, insights, and poise, and are the best ambassadors a school division could ask for. Thank you for representing LCS so well while allowing us to get to know you. It's great. I also want to thank Mr. Aaron Reed here, who, in addition to being a fabulous English teacher, awesome dad, and amazing forensics coach, he graciously agreed to squeeze us into his schedule and mentor these students as they prepared for today's program during the height of forensics competition season, no less. They say if you want to get something done, you should ask a busy person. Aaron, you certainly got the job done. LCS is fortunate to have outstanding teachers like Mr. Reed, and we appreciate all that he does for our students. As a small token of our appreciation, we have a gift for each of you, and we hope you enjoy. I know we're running just a few minutes over. We have so many folks here today. It took us a little longer to get through the food line. This is basically just where the credits start to roll. If you need to run out, my feelings won't be hurt. I know people have jobs they need to get to, but here I go, and I'll speed up my pace a little bit. Today's program is also a great success thanks to you and your interest in our school division, along with your generous support. Thank you again to today's lead sponsors, Amazement Square, Anthem, BB&T, Dominion 7 Architects, Centra, Fleet Labs, Gentry Lock Attorneys, Lynchburg City Schools, Lynchburg College, Ellen and Tom Nygaard, who couldn't be here today but hosted the table so that the parents of our presenters today could come and join us, and Piedmont Community Health Plan. Also to each of our 51 table sponsors for supporting this breakfast, as well as the other businesses, organizations, and individuals joining us today. Please take a few moments again to read through our list of sponsors in your program and consider engaging these businesses who support public education when you need their services. Our colorful centerpieces were created by LCS elementary school art students, and we extend our sincere thank you to those students and art teachers for brightening this event. Please feel free to take a centerpiece with you when you leave today. I have them in my office, and I know that when I come visit you, many of you have them decorating your offices, so please take them and think about today and how great it was. As always, we extend sincere appreciation to Ken Guerin for hosting us on LC's beautiful campus, and to the catering staff who are amazingly accommodating and always making hosting an event here extremely easy and worry-free. I also want to thank trustees Linda Jones and Kim Payne, as well as friend of the LCS Ed Foundation, Liz Dawson, who helped with setup of today's event, Andrew Wilds and Austin Journey for capturing today's program on film. Also thanks is extended to Jacob Caldwell and Blair Smith from Dominion 7 for printing those seating charts to help facilitate your arrival. I hope it helped get everybody to their seats on time. My most sincere appreciation is shared with the heart and soul, I like to say, of LCS, someone who forever stands on the ready to help when needed. He is my go-to idea guy, and when I knew I needed to host a breakfast with the superintendent, but it wasn't clear that we were going to have a superintendent, he dreamed up the concept of today's program, identified key players, helped guide the program development along the way, and for all of these reasons, I will be forever grateful for his eternal commitment to LCS and for being an amazing friend to the Ed Foundation and always keeping me straight. Thank you to Al Coleman for always getting us to be where we need to be. I also want to thank Dr. Massey, who selflessly stepped up to once again serve as interim superintendent for the past 9 months or so to keep this division moving forward. I got the sense he had his eye on the door this winter, but with an April 1st start date for the new superintendent, he was gracious enough to stay an extra month to ensure that we had a superintendent for the superintendent's breakfast. I may never know if that's really the reason why he stayed for the month of March, but I'm choosing to believe it. Thank you. The success of our city is intertwined with the success of our schools, and this does not happen without the generous support of our businesses, foundations, and individuals. Thank you for helping us encourage collaborative and creative teaching that promotes critical thinking and collaboration among our students through our Classroom Innovation Grants program, for providing school supplies and backpack to those in need to help ensure that all students are prepared for class and excited to learn at the start of each school year, making teacher resources available free of charge to help mitigate some of that $300 to $400 out-of-pocket expense teachers tend to spend each year on their students, awarding student scholarships to encourage and support educational advancement to a wide variety of students, and celebrating student success with our annual Senior Honors Dinner. Each of the over 400 of us here today are here today because we are committed to our public schools. How fortunate are we that so many of us work to ensure the very best educational opportunities are available for all of our students. It is a privilege to work with all of you, and I thank you for always having your door open when it comes to the children and students of Lynchburg. There is literature on the tables in the foyers as you are leaving about the Education Foundation if you want to learn more, or please get in touch with me or one of our trustees for more information. Donation cards and envelopes are also on the tables if you are so moved. Thank you for your interest and thank you for your time. You play a significant role in making this school division and this community a very special place. We thank you for your commitment and for being here this morning. Have a wonderful day.